So you guys were I'm hearing all you guys wanted the theme song shortened, so here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Sometimes she plays them. So does that. And when she does it with the cat, does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. So, it's shorter. There you go. CrazyCatLady or Martha Butler does not own any trailers or pictures. I use them under fair educational for and entertainment purpose. It's like it's all I did. Well, those years ago. See? No, I don't want to do any more of it.
Hi everyone, Martha here. Happy Easter, everybody. I'm had this post the next day, but I wanted to pick a movie that has somewhat Easter qualities besides that dumb Hawk movie. I think I already did that one a long time ago, but this one's a lot better than that one anyway. This one's called Rise of the Guardians, and technically, since the movie starts 3 days before Easter, and we do see Easter in it, it's technically an Easter movie. All those movies that you say, well, that movie takes place on Christmas, then it's a Christmas movie. Same thing with this movie, in my book. Yes, Santa's in it, so is the Tooth Fairy and Jack Frost. Grasping at straws here, guys, okay? Not many Easter movies are out there because they make too many Christmas movies, okay? So, let's get started with me talking about the story. So, about, give or take, I would say, since the time period that looks like he is, we see is, I would say, at least the 17 or the 1800s, because of the clothing that he wears and how the people are dressed and around for Jack Frost when he dies, when he drowns or has hypothermia. He most likely drunk since he at the end of the movie, around the middle of the movie, find out that he saves his sister from drowning because they were both on the ice, on thin ice, and it breaks after he saves her. So I don't know, probably go about a day or two after that happens. The moon tells Jack that you have been chosen to be the one who controls winter. Yay! And he gets a staff. But sadly, nobody believes him. So 300 years passed, and it's time for him to become a guardian. Protect kids from the evil boogeyman. Woo! So Jack is helping, playing with a bunch of kids 3 days before Easter, and making sure they throw snowballs because he gave him a snow day. They're playing, and one of them named Jamie gets picked up by a sled and make it move all around the town, and he ends up losing a tooth. And he says it's the Tooth Fairy. Go put it under the pillow. And the mom says, "No, don't let Jack Frost stick your nose." And the kid says, "Jack Frost is just an expression, dear." And she tells him not to stand up too late, trying to see the Tooth Fairy too. And then we go cut to the Santa, who sees a bunch of lights and says, and for some reason in this version we have the Yetis making the toys instead of the elves, and he has a Russian accent. I mean, it's fine. I think he is a cool creative. I just find it weird that he has a Russian accent when, if you look up your history of Santa, you know that Saint Nicholas is actually from Hungary. So it's cool, but I just find it a little bit weird that he doesn't have a Hungary accent. I think Alan Berkowitz does a good job playing him, but yep, I just think that that's kind of a bit weird. So he sees a bit darkness go over the globe that he has to like keep track of all the kids that believe in him. And he noticed that Pip, the boogeyman, is still out there because there's always somebody who's afraid. That night, everybody's sleeping. A girl named Cupcake dreams about unicorns, and Pip touches her unicorn and turns it into a nightmare, which looks a little bit like those Thestrals from Harry Potter. That's what it kind of reminds me of. And he tells them to go and spread the word to the others. Then Santa alerts the other guardians, which we have the Easter Bunny, who's like really tall and has an Australian accent, because for one movie Hugh Jackman gets to actually use his accent and not have to sound American or Canadian. You can actually use it because he's not playing Wolverine here. Or he's not playing P.T. Burr, the circus guy. He's not playing those guys, or he's not being in a French movie. So I'm happy he can actually use his actual accent. And we also have the Tooth Fairy, who is going around letting these little. She has like peacock feathers on her, which is this is really creative. I like that. This movie looked unique. And we also have the Sandman, which does not talk in this version. He just mostly like has like sand and like represents question marks on there. I mean, I've not really seen him been representative of many. I know there's that TV show that has to do with Sandman, but I never watched it really. And there's also the one who made the that the giant guy, the one who made BFT and Chocolate Factory. I'll remember his name in a minute. But yeah, those like only has numbers, and I know that's not technically the Sandman, but he does the same thing that the Sandman does in that book. So it's a giant, but that's the one thing I think of. Let me know if there's anything else that represents the Sandman out there. And all the Guardians find out that, okay, we get a new Guardian. Jack Frost, the Man in the Moon, picks it. Which, I find it weird. I never heard of Man in the Moon. Like, I know, like, there's, like, shapes of the moon, but that only one I know is that there's like a carving that looks like a rabbit or something like that. But so where was I? So after they find out that Jack's going to be the next Guardian, they go and get him by having the Easter Bunny trick him in the middle of the night, and Santa grabs him by the bag and warps him to the North Pole and tell him you are next to be the next Guardian, and tells him about his center, about like what his center is, that he has big eyes and that he's mysterious and stuff like that, and ask him, what is your center, Jack? Because Jack does not know if he wants to be a Guardian yet. And then they notice that Pip is attacking the Tooth Fairy's house and taking the tooth, because the teeth hold our memories. And Jack wants to know about who he used to be because he can't remember, and he doesn't know that he had a past life. But he says every one of them has had a past life, so he says since they find out the teeth has hold them, and after all the Tooth Fairies were captured by Pip, they decided, okay, why don't we get the tooth, because the kids will stop believing in the tooth fairy. And they gather the teeth, and this part's funny because they make it like a competition, like who can gather the teeth faster. And around we find one of the kids who sees them still, because he wakes up, named Jamie still, and he sees all of them but Jack. They tell him to like he can go to sleep by having Sandman like him with the sand, and he accidentally hits everybody but Jamie until last, and it's just Jack and Sandy, and they see one of those evil horses galloping away, and it's time, sadly, for Pip to kill the Sandman in this version, in this movie. And yep, for a while we think that Sandman's dead because everybody comes too late, and Pip shoots an arrow right at Sandman while he's trying to defeat him, and he gets hit and he disappears. But we have Jack hit the boogeyman really good with his frost, makes him go away. He says, finally somebody knows to have fun. And they do like a little mourning for the Sandman, and put the candles up, and Jack says, I tried to save him, but no, that you stood up to Pip. Jack will be proud, Santa said. And so they decided it's Easter Day, so time for everybody to go and make all the Easters happen. And we see how and also one of the when a 4-year-old gets who grab one of the snow globes that Santa uses to warp around and give us presents. Use one of the snow globes to warp where the Easter Bunny keeps all his eggs, and so they had to keep the kid entertained while they painted the eggs. And when that's going on, Jack takes to get home and hears his sister calling his voice, and finds that where the fairies are. And Pip says, you can have this. But I really think so he's basically making him think that he's there with the fairies, but he's actually crushing the eggs. This part that really confuses me because it's so weird. How did he do that? I guess he's using his fear against him to maybe make him think that what he's seeing is not real. So, and then gives him the memories, and all the eggs are cracked, and now nobody's believing in the Easter Bunny because nobody can find the eggs, and they end up telling him to go away, and he goes to I think someplace really cold, and then Pip goes to him and offers him for them to work together to scare kids, because what he did with his cold, and he says, I don't want to have kids fear me, leave me alone. After that, he ends up leaving, but he says, give me the staff, because he has one of the tooth fairies crushed him, and he ends up breaking, and the tooth fairy hits him with a little pimper, because they have their beaks more a little bit like a hummingbird. Hit them, and both Jack and the little fairy is at the hole while his staff is broken. Right here, he figures out that his sister, here he remembers everything, that he had a sister, and that he saved her from being drowned, because they went outside and skid on the wrong side of the ice, basically. But at least he made sure his sister didn't die. And that's when the moon chose him, because he died saving his little sister. And then, so he goes and tries to save everybody, because right about now, only one kid believes in everybody, and that's Jamie. And we had like the Easter Bunny really tiny, but Snow and Sandy could barely stand. The Tooth Fairy's losing all her feathers, and we don't know where Sandy is. So she goes to protect Jamie by making him, right when he's about to stop believing, and everybody showed him like a little sign of eggs, and makes a rabbit out of frost, and then has to go around everywhere, and he starts believing in Jack and sees him, and everybody goes, and then we have all the other ones show up, and we see how small the Easter Bunny is, looking at like a regular bunny, big as a human. This is when Pip comes and says, "You afraid, Jamie?" And Jack remembers that the way you keep a kid believing is by showing how fun you are. So he has them let's go now and get your friends, and basically does the same thing he does to Jamie by making him show how fun everything is, and they all start believing. And I do like this part because they bring the sand back and see like a bunch of dinosaurs, and eventually Sandman does show up, and they end up beating the boogeyman by touching his black horses and making them turn into different animals. After that, after they like scare Sandman, and after everybody starts believing into the boogeyman, because Jamie walks right through him because he no longer believes in him. Then they see like a whole bunch of the black horses, and then like, oh, then why are they here? Basically, because you are afraid, which I find it weird. Why would fear be afraid? Like, I don't understand that part. And then he and the horses like drag him down to the hole. So I like how he dies. I just don't like the fact that they say that fear is afraid. That doesn't make any sense to me. And the movie ends when they all leave, and Jamie says, "Don't go. What if we if we get afraid of Pip Gang? Well, we will just come back," basically. And Jack tugs, and the movie ends. Now I know this movie did not do very well at the box office. Let me see. Trying to remember what was because this movie, we go to Wikipedia page. It's Peter Ramsey directed it. Screenplay by David Leonard Sermon, based on Guardians of Childhood and the Man in the Moon by William Joyce. So it's a book. Okay, I did not know it was a book. Produced by Christina Bertland. Nancy Bernstein, starring Chris Pratt, who plays Jack, Alan Berkowitz, who plays Santa, Hugh Jackman, who plays the Easter Bunny, Iggy Fisher, who plays the Tooth Fairy, Jude Law, who plays the Boogeyman, Robert Denford, who did cinematography, edited by Joel Ansterlin, music by Alexander Dippet, and it's a DreamWorks movie. This movie was released October 10th, 2012, and it came out in the United States November 21st, 2012. So let's see how much it made at the box office. So the budget was $145 million, and the box office was $306 million. So I did do alright, but I just know, so it didn't bomb, so I'm happy it didn't bomb. But I do like this movie. I find it really good, and I find it unique. I just really wish it would get more attention nowadays, because I don't really see that much people talk about it. So how am I gonna get this one like a 7.5 out of 10? It's really good. It's funny. It has good moments. I think the actors do a good job. There's a little bit some things that doesn't make sense in it, but they pose to make sense. These are things that kids believe in, and sometimes when you are an adult and you have a little child inside of you, sometimes you remember those moments when you did believe in those things. So, yep. I'll see you guys later. Like, favorite, and subscribe, and Happy Easter, or whatever holiday you're watching this on. Bye-bye.